Good morning everyone, Janie here. Welcome back to my garden and happy Make a Bouquet Monday. So you all are gonna see this video on Monday and I feel kind of silly wishing everyone happy Make a Bouquet Monday, but we gotta make Mondays a little bit better, right? And I think making a bouquet on Monday, I think it is the perfect way to start off the week and make it enjoyable. So I've talked about this before. Make a Bouquet Monday is something that I'm doing for myself to encourage or force myself to come out to my cut flower garden and actually cut the flowers that I've been growing for bouquets. So I'm really good about growing the flowers. I'm really good about getting them in there. I'm really bad about cutting the flowers because I like seeing them in the garden. I like them here, but this is a cut flower garden. I think I heard it from You Can't Eat the Grass. I think they were saying that if you have a cut flower garden that actually has flowers in it, you're doing something wrong. So I'm doing something wrong, obviously, but I'm being a lot better this year than I have been in previous years because of Make a Bouquet Monday. And Make a Bouquet Monday is just a challenge that I set for myself to make a bouquet, to come out to my garden, cut flowers, and make a bouquet every single Monday for the rest of the year. And I want to encourage you all to join in, and a lot of you all have been joining in on Instagram and sending me emails, and I really love seeing it. So I think it's super cool. So happy Make a Bouquet Monday. So today I am out here. It's actually not Monday. It's actually the weekend. It's Saturday, but I wanted to come out here. It's a beautiful day and I wanted to make a bouquet for my Make a Bouquet Monday. And I also wanted to make a bunch of bouquets for my friends. And I have time today to do it, so I wanted to do it today. So my plan for today is I want to cut all of it. Like I want to cut every single flower that I can. I want to fill up my bucket and possibly even get a second bucket if I need it. And I want to harvest absolutely everything. So I want this garden to be pretty much bare and then see how fast it takes for it to start regenerating for me to have flowers again. I think the zinnias are going to take no time at all. I bet you I'll have more flowers by next Monday. But it'll just be interesting if I really do cut everything and then how many bouquets I can make. So I'm super excited about this. I'm going to make a huge bouquet for myself, and then all the rest I'm going to make bouquets for my friends, and I wanted to bring you all along. I just posted my July front yard garden tour, and it was a very long, very detailed tour, so thank you all for watching that. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate you all listening to me talk about my garden for over an hour. You know I love talking about it. So I did want to do a quick little front cut flower garden tour for July, just so you guys can see how it's going and what I have to say about each flower that I have been growing. So it's going to be Make a Bouquet Monday and a cut flower garden tour as well. So let's go. Okay, here's a good view of my cut flower garden. Now, I live in the middle of suburbia, in the middle of a neighborhood, so I do not have a lot of space. This is just the space that I could squeeze in to my garden, and I had this little area. This is all my area. This is all my property. My neighbor actually cemented in his side so he could have some more parking space. So this whole piece of property is mine, and I didn't know what to do with it, and so I decided to make it a cut flower garden. So it is 10 feet by 20 feet. So what does that make it? 200 square feet of cut flower garden. So it's not big, but it's big enough for me to get quite a lot of blooms out of it, especially if I do succession planting and different rounds of planting. And it's been a really fun thing for me over, let's see, this is my second year of my cut flower garden. So let me just take you guys through and I will show you what I have blooming in my cut flower garden in July. Okay, so we will start here, right here in this corner. This one doesn't look like much. This is my filler flower, but I think out of all the flowers that are here right now, this one is my favorite because it smells so incredibly amazing. This is Mrs. Burns Lemon Basil, and I'm using it as a filler. It's an ornamental basil. You can see it is totally bolting, flowering, and there's two ways that I can use this flower. I can use it with the green flower on, which is really pretty, and then also I can cut it off and just use the foliage just for foliage in my cut flowers. But regardless, it smells so incredibly amazing. Oh my goodness, you guys have to grow this plant because it's so good. So all of these I grew from seed, including this one, and I just love it. I mean, just rubbing your hands along it, it's this like summery, fruity, lemony scent, and it is just, I will always grow this Mrs. Burns lemon basil. I will be putting it in my garden just because I love it so much. It does look pretty cool. It's a pretty cool plant. You know, it's got a nice shape. This is like 12 little seedlings, right? So it does have a really nice shape. But oh my goodness, I cannot say enough about this plant. So, let's see, about 2 weeks ago, or a week ago, I'll say, I came in here and I put in as many of my fall flowers as I possibly could fit in. So you guys will see a bunch of little seedlings kind of stuck in all around. Right here, what I had planned for my fall sowing was cinnamon basil. And cinnamon basil, you know, I was kind of using it as the same thing as this lemon basil. So far, it smells good. I've smelled it, you know, at the plant store and stuff like that. It is nothing compared to lemon basil. I mean, just there's no comparison. So I'm excited that I'm growing it. You know, I'll keep I won't pass judgment before it reaches maturity, right? But so far I'm still loving this guy, or I should say girl, Mrs. Burns, right? Okay, right here, this beautiful plant. This is Snow on the Mountain Euphorbia, and this is another filler that I'm using. I actually got a bouquet from like a professional florist, and it had some of this in it, and I had to have it. I had to grow it. So it's been going really well. It's been doing better as it's gotten warmer. You can see, so like here's this one, and it's looking really good. But there's this one, this tiny little one right here that's like basically nothing. And that's kind of how it's been. It's kind of been like hit and miss, kind of. These are like one cut wonders. Like basically once you cut it, it won't grow again. So that will be it. So I've been kind of hoarding these and saving these. I will be cutting some of these today. However, one thing I've noticed about the Euphorbia, and I'm sure if I looked into this, I could have found it as well, it wilts pretty quickly after you get it, and you have to let it hydrate for like 12 hours, and then it'll pop back up and it'll be absolutely beautiful. I think 2 weeks ago, I made a bouquet and I put some of this in, and by the time I took pictures of it to put it like on Instagram, it looked all wilted and it looked horrible. And then the next day I woke up and I looked at it and it was all perky and beautiful, and the bouquet looked 10 times better. And I felt like I wanted to like remove the picture and put a new picture on of it being all hydrated. So this is one that you kind of have to prepare, and you can't cut it the morning of. You have to cut it like the night before or even the day before. I don't think I'm going to grow this one again just because it takes up a lot of room, and it's kind of, I don't know, it's just not worth it. Like, unlike the Mrs. Burns lemon basil, where I keep cutting on it and I keep cutting on it and it just keeps growing back, this one gives me way more bang for my buck and bang for my space as compared to the Snow on the Mountain Euphorbia. Okay, and then right next to the Snow on the Mountain, we have Lady Coral Lavender China Aster. And it's coming. It's not quite there yet, but I do have my first bloom. Oh, isn't it pretty? I love these China Asters. I also, over in the other part of my garden, I have the king size apricot that are ready to harvest as well. But man, this lavender color is just so pretty. There we go. So I'm definitely going to be cutting on that today, and you guys can see I've got a lot of blooms coming. Right behind that, I have some double click cosmos that are starting to take over as cosmos do. They're all this white double click, this double cosmo, really pretty. I cannot harvest these guys fast enough. I seriously can't. They, you know, it's just so hard for me. So I feel like I just want to kind of shear them all back and then let them all come up again. But I'm going to take out harvest as many as I can today, get as many flowers. Oh, look, there's a bee on it. How cute. So I'm going to get as many as I can today, and then I might just shear it all back just so it doesn't take over. I did grow these last year in my backyard, actually. I did a mix. It was a double click mix, and it was beautiful, but I loved the white ones the most. And they got so tall that they fell over. So I want to make sure they don't do that. So I will keep shearing them back and just try and stay on deadheading them. It's just really hard to keep deadheading them. Right here, I have my Prairie Sun Rudbeckia, and these guys are such a workhorse. These guys, I did the cool flower planting method. So I planted these, 2021, fall of 2021 is when I sowed these. And they actually took a while to come up, but once they did come up, they just have not stopped all season. So I think they're starting to peter out a little bit. You can see I took so many off last week, but I feel like there's more coming. So I don't know. I'm going to take, again, same thing. I'm going to take as many as I can and then kind of share them all back and then watch and see what happens with these. Up here, I have dahlias. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different types of dahlias. Only one of them has bloomed so far over here, and that was this one, which was the Lifestyle, which is, I don't want to call it a dwarf dahlia, but it's almost a dwarf dahlia. You can see I didn't stake this one because it says you don't need to stake it. So it was really, really pretty. I do have, like, this is Lavender Perfection here. This is one called ARBATAX. This is one called Blue Boy. This one's about to go. Let's see, what is that one called? Lady Darlene. So yeah, so they're coming. Usually dahlias don't come until late summer, kind of fall. So, you know, I'm being patient with it, but I'm really excited for them to come. I have more dahlias over there. So a lot of those are blooming and I've been cutting off of those as well. Kind of in this area right here, I have the BENARY'S Giant Bright Pink. Let's see, this one's kind of old, but let's find a good one so you guys can see the color. Ooh, here's a good one. Ooh, look at that. Isn't that pretty? I have been enjoying these so much. I have to say, I am a pink girl. I love pink flowers. I think they're so beautiful. I am drawn to them. Every single time I make a bouquet, I always want my focal flower to be pink. I just lean towards that. So these BENARY Giant Bright Pink are fulfilling that need that I have for pink flowers. And I have to remember that, you know, because I always want to try different colors, but I always go back towards the pink. Okay, and then up here, look at these cute guys. Oh, they're so cute. These are called Lemon Aura sunflowers. They are not big. Look at my hand. I have a feeling they will get big. You can see a couple up here that look like they're about to start getting big. Oh my goodness, they're so cute. So they're a lemon, right? So they're kind of like a cool yellow color. And I've been waiting patiently for these, waiting very patiently, but they look really good. I'm excited about them. I'm gonna definitely cut those today. They are a branching sunflower, so they'll keep coming even after I cut them today, as opposed to here, like this one right here and that one right here. These are PROCUT plums that I just planted for my fall sowing. Those are single cut sunflowers. So once I cut the bloom off that, it's done. I think that I get so much better bang for your buck for the branching sunflowers. So I always lean towards branching sunflowers because, you know, obviously you just keep getting more and more sunflowers. Right here is a coral fountain amaranth that was a weed. Well, so it reseeded itself last year. I had coral fountain amaranth and the lime green one. I can't remember the name of it right now, but I'll put it on the screen. I had 2 rows of that last year. Beautiful, so pretty, so huge. Kind of hard to arrange bouquets with. I think I'm just not too good at it. But when this grew, when this started growing, I thought it was a sunflower seedling. So I was like, oh, great. And I just left it. It ended up being an amaranth. And so I'm kind of happy though, because it's very pretty. I will cut this today and I'll use this in one of my bouquets for sure. Over here is where I planted my broom corn, my mixed broom corn. And mixed broom corn is just an ornamental corn. It's not a corn that you can eat. It just has those beautiful tassels that you can decorate with. So these should be ready, I think mid-September, I think is what, or early October, somewhere around there, but just in time for fall decorations and everything like that. So I always get corn stalks from the pumpkin patch when we go, but last year I grew a little bit of corn myself and I was so excited because I decorated with it. I mean, the corn were like this, like they were nothing. We didn't even eat them, but for decoration it was wonderful. So that's what I'm planting this for. This is another volunteer. This is the Sonora Zinnia, which I grew last year and I loved them. And I do have to say they're kind of funny. I have more that reseeded itself over there. They start off, this is the first bloom. They start off just okay. They're fine, just okay. But as the plant matures and it gets older, the blooms get fuller and thicker and more petals, and they're absolutely gorgeous. So don't judge this flower by this first bloom. Wait until later on in the season and you guys will see how beautiful the Sonora Zinnia is. Really gorgeous. Here are the BENARY lime green. I think I overplanted with these. So unlike the bright pink that I used as a focal flower, I used the lime green as a filler flower, kind of like a supporting flower. And I think I just planted way too many. Either I planted too many or they're just way too vigorous because I have so many lime green zinnias. I don't really know what to do with all of them. I just have so many and they're beautiful. They're absolutely gorgeous, but they're, you know, I can't build, I mean, I'm sure I could get creative and build a whole bouquet around them. But again, I lean towards pink. So they're pretty, but I probably won't grow these next year. But they're a good zinnia to have. This one, I don't know the name of. My friend sewed this one for me and gave me some of her extra seedlings. But look at that pink. This is I think in Oklahoma, or gosh, I don't know. I know she got these from Floret. That one is beautiful, a mauve color with like lime edges. This one, I know this is Oklahoma ivory over here. I just harvested most of these last week, so I just have a couple of these. Oklahoma ivory, and then these. So lots of different zinnias that I have going on. Another leftover from my cool flower planting, just like the Rudbeckia, is I have these delphiniums from the Magic Fountains mix. And you can see I have the light blue and the dark blue, and those are the two that are really, really thriving. So they're doing great. They're absolutely beautiful, but obviously the zinnias are kind of taking them over. I did take out 2 of the lime green plants and 1 of the delphinium plants so I could fit in some BENARY'S giant orange zinnias just so that they can be ready around fall and Halloween, and so I can make fall themed bouquets with the orange. Won't that be pretty? But I do have a couple of these left over. It looks like I have 4 stalks that I can cut on for today. And then here are a couple more of my Sonora zinnias. Look at this one. This is a good example. Look at how pretty. It's like this ombre peachy to a bright pink. It's so, so pretty. I love this zinnia. It is such a cool zinnia. And then this one, I'm not totally sure where that came from. So these all reseeded themselves, right? And, you know, when the bees pollinate zinnias, they go back and forth between plants. So these are not pure Sonora zinnias, which is probably where something like this came from, because last year I was also growing BENARY'S giant, BENARY'S giant pink, no, not pink, BENARY'S giant purple zinnia. And so this probably is a cross between those two, but it's really interesting to see what kind of pops its head out in the next years. So, you know, if you want to have pure zinnias, like exactly what the color is supposed to be, it's probably best just to repurchase all your seeds every year. But I just figured when I had all these volunteers, they were so pretty and they were so easy and they were there. So I figured I would just leave them. But this is a pretty good example of what the Sonora looked like last year. Okay, and then finally I have these PAMPAS PLUME CELOSIA, and you guys can see this one already has a bloom on it, which is so exciting. It's so cute. So, oh, that one has a bloom on it too. Cute. I've never grown celosia before, so I'm really excited to see them grow. Over there, I also have some red spike amaranth, which will be really pretty, I think. And then over there, I have some teddy bear dwarf sunflower, which I have grown before, and I think that will be perfect. Those are like those big fuzzy head sunflowers, and they don't get very big at all. Finally, I have this Valkyrie aster. I don't know if I'm saying it right. It's funny because these two plants, this one here and this one here, it bloomed when it was really small and really short. Look at them. They look fuzzy. This one's kind of old, but they're just a really interesting aster. But look at these. These were a lot taller, and they have blooms coming right now. So they're not ready this week, but by next week, I'm sure they'll be totally ready. So in addition to my cut flower garden over here, I also have flowers in my garden over here that I've been cutting on. So let me show you guys some of those real quick. So one of the things I'm going to cut today is this ageratum or floss flower. This is Blue Planet. I'm actually not going to use these in bouquets today. I'm going to dry all of these, but I do want to harvest them all because I read that they do really, really well as dried flowers. So I think that should be exciting. I'm a little late on some of them, which is kind of a bummer, but I think I can get a lot. So this whole thing is going to be sheared back by the end of the day. And then over here, you can see my dahlias. So this is my no-name dahlia. Isn't it pretty? This was from last year. I overwintered these tubers right here in this spot. So that gives me some confidence to know that I can overwinter tubers in my zone 9B. I knew I could do it. You know, they always say that you can definitely do it, but I'm always a little iffy about whether they really are going to survive. And these did, and these are by far the biggest dahlias I have right now. So I'm definitely going to be overwintering all my dahlias this year. These are Wizard of Oz. So pretty. This is probably the earliest blooming and the most prolific one I have. And then Arabian Night. So dark you can barely see it. Let's see what else I have. This is Thomas Edison. Sorry, I was just looking at the sign that I have. And then this is a Luna Claire Obscure. But look at that. It's like kind of frying in the sun. I feel like it's not getting enough water. I'll have to check on that. Okay, then finally, the last thing I wanted to show you all was my king size apricot aster. Look at how pretty. I love asters. I think they're so pretty. So I grew these before, but I grew them early in the season, which is not normal for asters, and they thrived. They did so beautifully. They were absolutely gorgeous. They were the focal flower of all of my bouquets for so long. And then I tried to do them a little bit later in the season, like normal asters, and you guys can see what's happening. They are just getting fried. It's just too much heat for them. So next year, I'm actually gonna go back. I'm gonna go back to early season sowing so that they can bloom when it's still cool. I think we're just too hot here. They're still blooming. They're still doing good. I have buds everywhere, but I just have to harvest them like right away or they will start frying. So I think that's the problem. And then I also think I have to bump up my watering a little bit. When I look at everything, everything's starting to look just a little crispy. So I think I'm gonna have to bump up my watering this week. Okay, so there's a quick little tour of my cut flower garden and everything I'm gonna cut today. So let's get to it. Oh my goodness, you guys, look at this. Okay, so here's the bucket I started off with. This was most of my zinnias, the lemon aura sunflowers, that one spike of amaranth, the delphiniums, and then the apricot asters. And then this one has the cosmos, the dahlias, the rudbeckias, more dahlias over here. And then I even got another jar out so that I could get some of the Mrs. Burns lemon basil as filler. So holy moly, I got a lot of flowers, and I probably could have gotten more, but I just figured enough was enough. So I have this vase. This is actually a utensil holder. I find them at Home Goods, and they're pretty cheap. They're you know, relative in cost to a vase, and I just think that they're perfect. I like organizing in that shape of vase, and I think it's really pretty. So I'm gonna make that for me today, and then I have 4 jars that I'm gonna make for my 4 close friends, and I will take them to their house after I'm done with them. So let's get going. Okay, I think I'm pretty much done. I'm losing my good lighting right now, so hopefully you guys can still see these pretty well. I do have the umbrella up. So this one is mine for my Make a Bouquet Monday. It's a little crazy. It's a little bit much, I think, but I think it's really pretty, and it reminds me of summer. So I have a bunch of the zinnias in here. I do have some of the lemon aura sunflowers. As you can see, the filler is this lemon, Mrs. Burns lemon basil, and for this one I chose to use the flower stalks, which is, it's like fireworks. So this is going to be the front. I have this Thomas Edison dahlia, and then my no-name dahlia right there. I have another one of these that's a little bit older in the back right there. So that one's a little faded, so I'll put that into the back. And then I have this crazy amaranth coral fountains that I always have trouble arranging with, but I always end up doing something like this, like just kind of hanging it over the side, and I think it looks really pretty. So I'm excited about this one. So this one I'm gonna keep for my Make a Bouquet Monday. And then I have these other 4 for my friends. So they all have kind of different themes, but I'm pretty happy with them. I think they're really cool. This is my kind of, I don't know, sophisticated, moody one. It has these, I don't know, I'm going to call them pink and lime zinnias. I forget what they're called. If I can find them, I'll put them on the screen. Has some cosmos, has some, the Oklahoma ivory zinnias, the BENARY lime green zinnias, and it's just, I think it's just pretty. I think it's a really pretty one. Then this one's super cool. This uses the Arabian Night dahlias that I had, and I had, what, like 4 or 5 of them. They're so pretty. They do not come across well in camera, I don't think, just because they're so dark, and I don't think the camera can pick them up. So I used these with the ranunculus, the Prairie Sun ranunculus, and then I did put in some of this lemon basil, but I feel like it needed a little bit more motion off to the edges. So I went and I harvested some of my honeysuckle that I have over there. And actually I have honeysuckle over there that's blooming a ton. And so I was totally enjoying that and enjoying the smell. But I love using honeysuckle as filler, especially when you use the new shoots that are coming out and they kind of curl over like this. I think it's so pretty. So I really like this one. Then I have bouquet number 3, which is my bright and summery bouquet. It has the blue delphiniums, which are very pretty, these hot pink zinnias, the lemon aura sunflowers, and then the Mrs. Burns lemon basil. So it's just so bright and so cheery, and I love it. Super cute. And then finally, my last one, pink. That's all I can describe it as. So it has the Wizard of Oz dahlias, the BENARY'S giant pink zinnias, the apricot, giant apricot, I'm saying it wrong, the asters, Mrs. Burns lemon, and a couple of cosmos. Just total pink. I already know I'm gonna give this one to my friend Olivia because she's a pink girl just like me. And that looks pretty, but this is my mess. I knocked over a jar of water there when I was just filming. I have a little bit of leftovers. I have all these caladiums that I need to get planted up. Yeah, it's a mess, but we'll just look at this pretty stuff for right now. All right, everyone, so that is it for the video today. I hope you all enjoyed my cut flower garden tour, as well as Make a Bouquet Monday ×5. I gotta go get all these bouquets delivered to my friends. I'm sure that they will totally enjoy them. I will keep you all updated on how my cut flower garden rebounds from this pretty intense harvest day that I had. I think it's gonna be pretty happy. I mean, I never actually take every single flower out, and I didn't even do that today because some of them weren't totally mature, so there was no point to take them out. But it's just kind of a constant thing of trying to manage the flowers in your cut flower garden, and that's not a bad problem to have. Too many flowers, I'll take that any day. So I hope you all enjoyed this, and I hope you get a chance to get out into your garden today.